Hello, good morning, and welcome to News File. This is your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on News File, as always, we put Ghana first. What is the state of Ghana? The president knows it. Sure, he knows it better than all of you. Built more roads than any other government in the Fourth Republic. He has evidence to show for that. He's constructed more railways than any other government in the Fourth Republic. He's taking care of the Zongo and inner city communities by way of infrastructure than any other government in the Fourth Republic. He has constructed more NCA licensed fiber optic cable than any other government in the Fourth Republic. He's done 93% in total. He's increased the proportion of the population with access to toilet facilities from 33% to 59%. He's increased the number of public libraries from 61 since independence, or from independence until 2017 to 115 in 2022. He's ensured there's been provision of more equipment, vehicles, ammunition, etc. to security services than any other government in the Fourth Republic. He has successfully implemented the digital address system, improved significantly financing of governance and anti-corruption MDAs like the Attorney General, the NCC, SHRAJ, EOCO, and the Special Prosecutor. He has implemented one district, one factory, and in 4 years, 106 companies are in operation. 148 factories are under construction. He's established Africa's first national-scale electronic pharmacy platform. In fact, some of the first that he has superintended in this country go beyond previous governments. Some are the best in the world, not in Africa. What do you know to be the state of the economy? Some say the president is living elsewhere and not in Ghana. Where is your evidence? One soldier has been murdered, killed by people we are yet to know why they killed him. Was it because of a woman or for some other reason? The death of that soldier has brought a suspension of the rule of law in Ghana, and the military take over the job of the police and do it with a lot of brutalization, with pictures to show. And this is justified. Many were arrested under the operation. They have been released because no crime found against them. Or what is the reason? The police say they have arrested key suspects without brutalizing anybody. We'll be right back to deal with the vexed matters. Welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And here is Samson's Take. As I promised you, part 2 of Kojo Dame President promotes RTI, punish the violations. Occupy Ghana has been telling the story of how the Lands Commission is failing, neglecting, or refusing to act like a public service provider with professionals, despite being fined 100,000 by the RTI Commission for such conduct. In one of its rulings last week, the RTI Commission ordered the Lands Commission to release information requested by Occupy Ghana within 14 days. In its characteristic style, Occupy Ghana immediately wrote to bring their attention to the verdict and asked to know the cost and what form the disclosure will be made: photocopy, PDF, email, or it will be delivered on a pen drive. On Thursday, Occupy Ghana was compelled to write to remind them because, just as in their earlier process where it had to write about a dozen letters to get attention, the Lands Commission has once again elected to ignore its letters. But like it did in sending a letter every week on other demands, Occupy Ghana has vowed to send a reminder letter every day until the 14 days deadline expires next week. You can trust Occupy Ghana to sue if it becomes necessary. But all Occupy Ghana has asked for is information on state lands now owned by private persons or companies, and how they came to own what belonged to the state. When Sir John's will revealed the unthinkable and near impossibility, everybody cried foul play and corruption, and rightly so. But very typical of citizens and our media, we went to sleep. Occupy Ghana is not sleeping. It is pursuing the bizarre and scandalous Achimota Forest sales saga to its logical conclusion. This is all this is really about. Public lands are for the citizens. The Constitution is clear that these lands are vested in the President only as a trustee with fiduciary obligations to account to us how he manages these properties on our behalf. Yet the Lands Commission, after initially expressing readiness to provide the information, changed its posture, forcing Occupy Ghana to appeal to the Right to Information Commission. Ace Ankuma and his team have done even more on various serious public interest matters, including pursuing the Office of Special Prosecutor to investigate the unnamed wealthy businessman who bribed some MPs over the Oforiatta vote of no confidence motion. You remember that? Many have forgotten. And the politicians know it was slide. Occupy Ghana says no. The guys at Occupy Ghana have used their money to fund expensive lawsuits that bring them no private gain, and have gotten laws passed, even laws passed to improve accountability and transparency for the citizens. Those of you, especially NDC folk, who ignorantly or deliberately maliciously shout that Occupy Ghana has gone to sleep in the MPP regime, no. If you did a quarter of the heavy lifting legal brain work that Occupy Ghana has been doing, Ghana would be a lot better. It's not always noise and hitting the streets. Fix the Country's Oliver Barker-Vormawor chased information the National Security Ministry was forced by public outcry to promise over the illegal and unconstitutional assault of City FM's Caleb Kuda. They did not mean what they promised in the heat of the story. They knew Ghanaians will forget in only a few weeks, but when Oliver pursued them, they ignored him completely, leading to the RTI Commission's ruling ordering them to disclose non-exempt portions of the information requested within 14 days. The Fourth Estate, the Media Foundation for West Africa's Public Interest and Accountability Investigative Journalism Project, also got orders compelling the GES to release information on COVID-19 spraying exercises found by Manasseh Azori-Awini to have been a conduit for grand corruption and waste. The Fourth Estate has been acknowledged as the biggest user of the RTI law. This is the group you, and you know yourselves, have for whatever purposes, obviously not in the national interest, made it your job to attack and abuse them simply because they churn out well-researched and investigative stories that save Ghana millions and expose rots in our society. The RTI Commission's intervention was sought by Kofi Asare of Africa Education Watch for the release of information on schools' placements. Information the ministry used to publish without anybody asking. In most of these cases, as I noted last week, the applications were not even acknowledged. What disrespect to citizens. Yes, not even when the RTI Commission requested responses from these institutions. So you want us to give you a job, pay you every month without fail, but for you to treat information generated with our money as though it were your private property? You clearly do not understand public service and must be deemed unfit to hold public office set up and funded by the public for service to the public. Dear Attorney General, I make my call once again. Information Minister, Mr. President, it is your duty to demonstrate you are not complicit. Publicly denounce the disgraceful conduct. Dismiss these heads of institutions embarrassing government and giving the country such a bad name. You must insist they pay the fines from their own pockets. Mr. President, when you signed this law in 2019, you said it was the mother of all anti-corruption laws. Yes, you were right. But that is if the law works. And that is my take. We'll be right back, joined by my guest for this morning to discuss the vexed matters. Rule of law suspended because a soldier is killed? You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And as always, here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. It's brought to you by the candid sponsorship of Bank of Africa, strongest group and closest partner, MTN, everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 31 years. My Way Insurance, dial *165# on MTN to join. Duraplus, how you get your water matters. Remember, where Duraplus goes, water definitely flows. DBS Industries, Roofing Papa Fie, Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dreams become reality. My guest this morning, Professor Kwesi Enin, Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research, Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Professor Kwejo Appiah Tua, Associate Professor, School of Law, University of Ghana, Legon. Dr. Theo Echampong, he's political risk analyst. And for the second segment of our discussion, we have on the state of the nation, we have Dr. Stephen Amwa, who is MP in Shaiso, financial economist and member Finance Committee of Parliament. Of course, his status appears to be changing, so he's Deputy Minister Designate for the Ministry of Trade. Samuel Neti George is MP, Ningo Pram, Deputy Ranking Member, Communications Committee of Parliament and Member Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. Of course, we shall also be joined by Mary Awalana Ada, who is Programs Manager, Ghana Integrity Initiative. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for making time to join us. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. So let me begin by taking you to the Ashaiman community that was visited by the soldiers, and that is the reason we are having this first discussion.
They first opened 5 of the doors, used a catapult to break some of the louver frames and the glasses. Yes, and then broken all the levers around. A lot of things have been it's haphazard in the house. There were 4. One of them managed to escape with bruises. You have seen it yourself. They back all. They use whatever they get to beat them up. In fact, it is not a good sin.
If you don't go, Monsieur Yansan. Yes, sir. If you do take your time. If they say they catch you, I don't worship you. You don't know call. If you do take your time. If they say they catch you, I don't worship you.
You also have marks on your body?
Yeah, I do have marks on.
Let me see that. Whoa. Wait, what caused this? What did they use to beat you?
Any weapon they having on their hands. Others were using rope.
Oh no! You no. Well, yeah, I know. He still have some bruises behind him, but we can't show that on TV.
They were using
assault marks behind you.
Yes, sir.
What kind of weapons?
Others were using neem tree branches and cables, PVC pipes, and all types of things that they are holding.
So when were you released? Were you released on the same day?
Yeah, I was released on the same day around 11 p.m. As my college friend said it.
So you were also only in boxer shorts?
Yes.
No singlet or anything?
No dress.
I was my boxer. I did not wear anything. So when I came, he just asked me to go closer. But then the water was on the ground. So when I was there, before I could realize, about 3 of his team came around. They started slapping me, and then they asked me to roll on the ground. In the process, I saw a woman. There's a market closer here, Ashama Market. The woman also was going to the market. They asked her to put things down, and she asked her to join me. As an elderly woman, a man who was traveling by then, they asked him, and because the man was not responding, they started beating him. So we're beating the 3 of us, and then they asked her to do pressure. In the process, then they marched out to the junction. Before I could realize, I see the bigger armor car with about 100 commandos armed with the various, tools. I mean, stick, iron rod, or what have you. About 100. So they started beating us. In fact, I will say about over 50 again because they come on rotation. This person will beat you, another person will follow up. The stick, the various cane to beat under your foot, on your toes, at the back, on your head. But this cut is from the bed. The bed that the man lose the bed and they hit it, and I was trying to parade it.
The soldiers told the resident that it's a 1-month operation, and they have instructions from above to put the fear of God in them to avenge the murder of the fallen soldier. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we the people of Ashama condemn the beastly acts of the Ghana Armed Forces, and we also call for the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, to do same and render an unqualified apology to the good people of Ashama for the criminal acts of his troops. We also call on the media, civil societies, professional bodies like the Ghana Bar Association, religious bodies, among others, to join us in condemning the violence and the criminal acts of the soldiers. Consistently and persistently, the Ghana Armed Forces have taken Ashama as the training ground for unleashing violence on the innocent citizens.
Right. So we woke up to the news that a young soldier known to play the trumpet so very well, 21-year-old Sheriff Imoro, had come from his station to Accra for a training and sought permission to visit his mother in their Shaman community. It was during that visit that he met his untimely death. Then the community was greeted by military personnel who were on rampage on Tuesday, March 7, with helicopters and armored vehicles. Civilians were brutalized. This, by our count, circumstances of military brutality that we have been able to count, this will be the 10th in less than 3 years. Professor Kwesi Enin, Professor Kojo Apiaje Etua, let's start with you, Professor Apiaje Etua. I'm sure you have read the military's response. What would you say?
Samson, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I feel outraged, I feel dismayed, I feel so disappointed about what has taken place in Ghana, in 21st century Ghana, 2023, after 30 years of return to constitutional rule, where the rule of law is supposed to work, and for people to be considered as citizens, not spectators, in the own words of our president. What happened really takes us years back, generations back. And it's a sore reminder of our past. Some of us who experienced a little bit of military rule and the fact that there was lawlessness and disorderliness. I think that is what's happened at Ashama. And it violates every law in the books. The Constitution is clear about how citizens should be treated. The fact that we have a whole chapter in the Constitution on human rights, and for the dignity of human beings to be degraded to that level is appalling. It's just condemnable in the strongest terms. And it is the wish of every well-meaning Ghanaian that action should be taken to make sure that this matter is not pushed under the carpet, but the people involved are duly sanctioned and punished.
To be frank with you, when I saw those footages and pictures, I doubted that this was Ghana.
Yes.
I doubted that this was Ghana, where in your constitution you put there in Article 15 that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolable. No person shall, whether or not he is arrested, emphasis, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, or any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. How does this coexist with what we have just witnessed in the country?
Well, the two can never go together. The rule is that the Constitution, as you rightly said, the dignity of the human person is supposed to be protected. The same Constitution talks about the fact that everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty. What took place was an extrajudicial act aimed at brutalizing innocent people. It was claimed to be an intelligence-led operation, but it was not. The police had a role to play. The police started something. The army came and usurped that responsibility placed on the police. And the police went mum, which is also very shocking and frightening if the police cannot protect us.